Well, last Thursday, the new College of Florida voted to scrap its gender studies program, making it the first public university in America to do so. They're pushing back against the left's agenda regarding gender ideology and queer theory and so forth. By the way, back in March, the same university also abolished its DEI programs. And of course, when they did that, they experienced a lot of heated protests from the left. And as you can well guess, the left's reaction to this most recent move has also been quite fierce. Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Meg Kilgannon, FRC's Senior Fellow for Education Studies, and she served in the U.S. Department of Education during the Trump administration. Meg, as always, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jody.
Well, listen, this is exciting news. This is the first public university in America to make such a news. Just begin. Put all this in context for us. How big of a deal is this?
I hope it's a very big deal. And it was really fun to do the research for this interview because I knew that the new college in Florida had been given 6 new people on their board of trustees who were much more conservative than the previous members. And so, as a conservative, I'm used to being disappointed by people that we put in positions of power to get things done, because so rarely does it actually happen. But this is a wonderful example of people who are really committed to using the authority they've been given to achieve a mission on behalf of the taxpayers who are supporting the university. So New College of Florida is a very small university in the Florida public system. It's only 630 students. I would describe it as very much of a boutique experience of a college. You don't get grades there. You're given after each class a formal written evaluation of your performance in that class. They have a contract system where if you agree that you're going to pass 3 classes out of 5, and if you do that, that's great. But if you only pass 2 classes out of 5, then you're going to have a problem. I mean, it's an experimental college, right? And so the idea now is right. And so the idea now is that instead of experimenting with liberal and progressive ideas, they're going to experiment with classical education. And I think that's a great idea because you can get a lot of liberal college anywhere else.
That's right. And they may be a small college, but they're carrying a big stick right now. And just the fact that they are pushing back against the gender studies. And I want to be sure that I'm correct. I mean, these gender studies, these are the type of studies that teach that men can get pregnant and that women can somehow become men. Isn't that right? That's what we're talking about.
That's right.
This is far from collegiate type education as we've known it in the past.
Well, sure. I mean, and what the gender studies professors don't like to tell you is that they changed their direction from all of the gender studies programs used to be women's studies programs. But as we say in the gender identity issue, women are erased. And this is the greatest example of it, is that I'm sure this department used to be a women's studies department. And even though they may have a women's studies section within the department, it is a gender studies department now, and it is there to teach students about Marxist queer theory, okay, to destabilize society with the destruction of the nuclear family because of the division between the sexes. I mean, that's what gender studies is for. So I feel like the taxpayers of the state of Florida, and actually any state in the union, are under no obligation to pay for that sort of indoctrination of students. Even adult students who, are there as college students. So I for one, am really glad to see this department canceled. As the parent of college students, this is exactly the kind of thing I don't think is enhancing their education. And there's so many other things to fill your mind with besides this kind of subversive thinking.
Let me throw something else past you, and we've just got a couple of minutes left here, but going back to a blue state now, from the red Florida to blue California, Democrats there are advancing a bill that could really target parents who are just wanting to speak out at school board meetings. Can you fill us in what's going on there?
Yeah, that one really is amazing. They're going to institute a system of fining parents who cause emotional disturbance to any school employee. And Jody, do you think they will ever have the school system pay parents a fine of $500 or $1,000 for the distress that the school system causes the parents? That's never, or the children. That's never the way these things go, right? It's always that we have to get on board with their program, which is why they want to have nobody say anything objecting to any pointing out any nonsense in California. They don't want to hear it. And in fact, they may even fine you if you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a stark difference between what's happening in a state like Florida, where they're just trying to educate, versus a state like California, where they want to indoctrinate, as you referenced, and at the same time intimidate and potentially fine parents for questioning. It's just unbelievable what's taking place.
It is.